Imagine walking into a bank full of ambition, only to be denied the opportunity to work there, not because of your skills or qualifications, but because of the color of your skin. That's exactly what happened to a young black woman decades ago. Told she didn't belong, she could have walked away forever. But instead, she made a choice that would change everything. Years later, against all odds, she returned, not as a customer, not as an employee, but as a leader who would transform the very institution that once turned her away. This is a story about resilience, justice, and the power of breaking barriers. It's about standing tall in the face of discrimination and turning rejection into a legacy. How did she overcome the odds? What drove her to lead the very bank that denied her? Stay tuned for this incredible journey of triumph and redemption. Her journey started in the 1960s, a time when opportunities for black women were scarce and the fight for civil rights was far from over. She had the qualifications, the drive, and a dream of building a career in banking. But when she stepped through the doors of that bank, she was met with rejection. They didn't even consider her application. To them, she wasn't the right fit. It wasn't just a personal blow. It was a reminder of the systemic barriers that people like her faced every day. But she didn't let that moment define her. Instead, she used it as fuel. She pursued other opportunities, working tirelessly to prove not only her worth, but her undeniable talent. As the years passed, the world began to change, slowly, unevenly, but her determination never wavered. Little did the bank know, the woman they once turned away was quietly building the strength to come back stronger than ever. As the years went by, her name began to carry weight in the banking world. Through sheer perseverance, she climbed the ranks at other institutions, proving her brilliance in finance and leadership. Meanwhile, the very bank that had once denied her was struggling to keep up with a rapidly changing society. Customers were losing trust, and the institution's reputation was slipping. It was ironic. The same doors that had been closed to her were now desperate for someone who could turn things around. And that someone was her. But it wasn't just about saving a struggling bank, it was personal. Could she lead without letting the sting of rejection cloud her vision? Would the people who once dismissed her now follow her leadership? Every step forward brought its own challenges. Some welcomed her return as a symbol of progress, while others, clinging to old prejudices, refused to accept her authority. The stage was set for an incredible showdown. When she walked back into that bank, it wasn't as the hopeful young woman they had dismissed, it was as their new leader. The announcement sent shockwaves through the staff. Some whispered about her qualifications, questioning if she could handle the weight of the role. Others quietly cheered, seeing her as a symbol of long overdue change. But not everyone was ready to embrace her return. Resistance bubbled beneath the surface, from skeptical board members to employees unwilling to follow her vision. Still, she remained unshaken. She understood the enormity of the task ahead, reviving a failing institution while proving, yet again, that she belonged. She rolled up her sleeves, diving into the work of reforming policies and rebuilding trust. Every decision she made faced scrutiny, every step forward met with roadblocks. The pressure was immense, and the odds felt stacked against her. But she was determined to succeed, knowing this was about more than just her. It was about breaking barriers and rewriting the story. Just as she began to find her rhythm, a shocking discovery threatened to unravel everything she had worked for. While reviewing the bank's operations, she uncovered years of unethical practices that had contributed to its decline. Hidden fees, discriminatory lending policies, and a trail of negligence painted a grim picture of how the institution had operated. For a moment, she was faced with a choice: quietly cover it up to protect the bank's reputation, or bring the truth to light and risk everything she had fought to rebuild. But there was no hesitation. She knew she couldn't lead with integrity while ignoring the damage that had been done, especially to the very communities she represented. As she prepared to address the findings, opposition within the organization grew louder. Some saw her actions as a threat to their positions and profits, and suddenly she found herself battling forces determined to silence her. The pressure mounted, and the stakes were higher than ever, but walking away was never an option. The day she decided to go public with the bank's past, the tension was palpable. She stood in front of a packed room, reporters and employees alike, ready to hear what she had to say. With calm determination, she laid out the truth, acknowledging the institution's mistakes while outlining her plan to make things right. She announced sweeping reforms, transparency initiatives, and a commitment to rebuilding trust with the community. The backlash was immediate. Critics accused her of tarnishing the bank's name, while others praised her courage for facing the problem head-on. But just when she thought the hardest part was over, an unexpected twist emerged. Among the records, she found evidence that linked some of the discriminatory policies to individuals still holding high-ranking positions. Exposing them would risk even more turmoil, but she didn't hesitate. She took decisive action, forcing their resignations and proving her dedication to real change. In that moment, she became more than a leader. She became a symbol of justice and perseverance. The bank began to thrive under her leadership, transformed by her vision. And for the first time, the doors that had once shut her out now welcomed everyone, with her story standing as a testament to what was possible. Under her leadership, the bank didn't just recover, it flourished. It became a place where everyone, regardless of background, was treated with dignity and fairness. Her reforms inspired other institutions to examine their own practices, sparking a ripple effect of change across the industry. But for her, the most rewarding part wasn't just turning the bank around. It was seeing people from her community walk through its doors with confidence, knowing they belonged. Her story became a beacon of hope, reminding others that perseverance could break even the toughest barriers. The rejection she once faced wasn't the end of her journey. It was the spark that lit the way forward. As she reflected on the path that had brought her full circle, she didn't dwell on the hurt or the challenges. Instead, she focused on the future and the power of using her voice to create a legacy of equality and progress.